Hello and welcome to this channel. In this video, we are going to create this to-do list. This is quite good if you want to add it to your CV. Let's dive deeper into the project and find out more about it. As you can see here, I can delete the tasks and also edit them. I will edit the going out task, and instead of going out, I will write going out for dinner. After refreshing the to-do list, the tasks will remain. And I can add a new task, and also by clicking on them, they will fade away. Now let's move on to the VS Code and start coding. At first, we will create index.html. And inside HTML, we will write HTML5. The code will appear. After that, I will change the title. Example, to-do list. In the body section, I will create a div. This div will be our container. Inside our container, I will write input. Each type must be text. We don't need a name or ID right now. We will need a placeholder for our input. For example, enter your task here. Next, I will going to create a button for adding task. And an URL for showing the tasks. In the next part, I will going to create a script.js page. First, let me run our project. I will use live server. It looks good for now. Let's add some IDs to our elements. First, I will add task input to input element and add task btn to our button. URL ID, in my opinion, should be task list because we tend to show our task inside it. In JavaScript coding, first I will create an array of const. First const must be task input. In this line of code, I will get the input. So get element by ID, task input. Let me quickly correct this. In the third line, I will write add task btn document.getElement by ID. As you may know, in this line, I'm getting the btn and task list for getting the task list. Let me get my code in order using Ctrl Alt F. In the second const, I will create my functions. So const func e equals. First function that I need is add task. The second function is load tasks. In add task function, I will create task and loading task. If we refresh our page, this function will load previous tasks. We will save the task in local storage in this function. And remove task from local storage. The another function that we need is update function. So update tasks from local storage and refresh task list. It might be a little hard for you to understand these functions, but in this video I will completely explain every one of them in detail. Another function for our event listener. So event e document.add event listener DOM content loaded load tasks. And in line 10, I will create const e.add task btn add event listener. With this code, if our button clicked, it will call the add task function. First, let's go create our add task function. Const task text equals with this code, I'm calling the save task in local storage function and pass the text to it. First, I will create some element. For example, const li is equal document dot create element and li. We are creating li now. Second one is delete button. So const, let me correct this. Const delete btn equal document.create element button. And third const will be edit btn. all we need to do change the delete to edit. Okay, after creating our element in the second part of this function, I will determine elements values. For example, li.textContext equals text. Delete btn must be delete, and edit btn must be edit. Okay, in the third part, I will append them. In other words, I will simply put my button inside li and put li inside task list. So const e.tasklist.append child and li inside parentheses. Now the third part is finished. I will write some add event listeners. For example, if delete btn unclicked, we should call delete function, and if edit btn unclicked, we should call update function. So funky e dot remove task from local storage text. I'm passing text to remove function, and li.remove. With this line of code, we will remove the deleted li from our screen. And for edit btn, we do the same. Let me clean up my codes again. In remove task from local storage, I will write text. And in update task, I will write all text. Let me change this function's name. Instead of save task in local storage, I will simply write create task element. And here I will write add task to local storage. In the add task function, I will call this function too. Let me add func e2 in order to prevent any error. And passing task text. In this function, we are going to save our task in local storage. So const tasks equals json.parse, and inside parentheses local storage.getItem tasks. And if there is nothing in local storage should be returned null. And task.push, I will push the text. Let me check this code. There we have some error. It has to be value. Task input.value. And here, in the third step, I will write local storage.set item tasks json.stringify tasks. I will paste the code to remove task, count task equal, but instead of task.push, I will write task.filter. In the remove function, I will use task.filter. And task inside parentheses, and compare task.text with the text that we want to delete. And in the update task function, first I will create a const. Const new text equals a prompt. And inside prompt, I will write edit your task here. And old text. And here I will write a condition where the new text and new text.trim shouldn't be null. In that case, and change const to let. Const task index equal task.findIndex. With this line of code, we are trying to find the task that we want to edit. And compare task text with old text. If task index is bigger than 0, let me copy my code again here. I will write task and task index dot text equal to new text dot trim. Let me explain this function in details for you. In new text const, we created a prompt where users are able to edit the specific task. After user edits the text, we need to know which task user wanted to edit. Therefore, I used find index. After we find the task, we equal the specific task's text to the new text. And in the last line, we save the task to the local storage. In the last line, we save the task in the local storage. Then we call the refresh function. In this function, we will set the task list.innerHTML to blank. After that, we call load task function to refresh the task list. Then I will call func_e.event_e outside the func_e, and in the load tasks, I will copy my codes again and write task.forEach. With this code, for every one of the tasks that exist inside the local storage, we will create an element. Now it's time to go to the browser. Let me add a task. Delete function is working. Edit is working too. But we cannot delete the value of input. Let's check our code. For solving this issue, I will write const e.taskInput.value equal to blank. Let me check my code, and in the task.push, I will add curly braces to the text. Now everything works perfectly. And after refreshing it, you can see that our task is loaded. Let me raise the local storage and refresh it again. As you can see here, our task is no longer available. Now that the JavaScript part is done, let's move on to creating a style sheet. I will write style.css. First I will write body and font family. Our font family is sans serif and Arial sans serif. Next style I want to write is background color, and in this case F4, F4, F4 is great. Margin should be 0 and padding is better to be 20 px. In the container class, it's for our container, It's better to write max width around 600 pixels, margin auto, and background color is better to be white. Padding 20 px. And border radius around 5 px. Box shadow should be 0, 0, 10 px. Let's check our code. The codes are not working, I guess because we misspelled container. Yes, let me correct it. I have to link my CSS sheet to the HTML page. Now that everything is done, we see our primary codes. Let's move on to H1. Text align must be center in H1. Tags for input, it's better to write calc for its width. So width is calc 100% minus 100 px. Okay, it's not working. We will find it out later. Padding, in my opinion, 10 px is better. Border 1 px solid and CCC for its color, and border radius 5 px. Next element is button. We will create a padding for it. The padding should be around 10 px, and border, it should be none. We don't need border around our buttons. Background color, in this case, for now, we will write blue. And this color should be white. The color of text inside it. You can see the updated codes. The next thing I want to add to my button is border radius. As always, is 5 px. And cursor, it's better to be pointer. Let me add a task. You can see the delete and edit button, which we want to slightly change them. So I will start from URL, release style tab should be none. We don't need this, and padding around 0. And for li that is inside URL, display is flex and justify content. It's better to be space between, and padding 10 px is better. Border bottom should be 1 px solid CCC. Color CCC, and text decoration should be line through. You might might wonder why I created this styles. It's for the times when a user completed a task, but he doesn't want to delete it. Therefore, by clicking on the task will be faded and a line will go through the task. We will create this scenario later on. But first, let's focus on the position of buttons, delete button and edit button. It's not user-friendly to show these buttons like this. I want them to be in the right side of my project. For creating this, let's move on to the script.js. First, I will create a const. Const btn container equals document.createElement. Inside the parentheses, we will write dev. With this code, I simply create a dev element. And in the next step, I will append the delete btn and edit btn inside of btn container. Then I will write li.append child. btn container will be appended to the li. There might be a problem here. And list is not defined. We should have write li instead of list. And li must be capitalized. Yes. As you may see now, it's working. In the next part, I will add a class list to each button. Therefore, I will write delete btn.classList.add delete, and for the edit btn, it should be edit. Now let's move on to the style.css and write our code. For delete class, background color must be red. For edit class, it should be green. We will change this later. I want the delete btn to be on the right side and edit btn on the left side. For doing so, we will simply swap their code in the script.js. Let's head back to the style.css, and for delete class, we will create a margin. Margin left 5 pixels. And for edit btn, I will determine its width, and it should be 70. And I will apply the same for delete btn. Let's change the color of add task. After that, let's check our code. I will add some tasks. Edit is fine. The second one and the third one. Going out for dinner. But the width of input is the thing that we must do change. For doing so, first I will change input to its ID. Instead of class, we will use ID here. 300 pixels. And for border, I will create a margin left, 400 pixel width for our input. In the next step, I will delete all the tasks, correct the background color, and I will give a min height to the to-do list. It's better to 400. No, it's very big. Let's make it 300 pixels. And about box shadow, as you can see, the color is very dark. I want it to be a little bit brighter. Therefore, RGBA 000, and now it's better. Margin top, it's better to be 100 pixels for our project. And in the index.html, I will add a h1 to-do list. I will copy the title and put the input and button inside the div. The class better to be, the class is flex wrapper. I will copy it, and in the style.css I will give this class some styles. First, display must be flex and justify content center. As you can see, now is better. For H1, the margin top of 5 pixels is better. And color brown. I will delete the li from here, and in the script.js, first I will create the element const text holder equals document dot create element div. Let me write a task going out, for example, helping my dad, a random task, and watching a movie. Instead of giving the text to the li, I will give the text to text holder. As you can see, now the text are disappeared. And then append the text holder to the li. Now everything works fine. I want if user clicked on the text fade a little bit. Therefore, I will add an event listener to text holder. And whenever it's clicked, I will write text holder dot class list dot toggle. Toggle means switch. It's like on and off. As you can see, now everything works fine. Goodbye to you all. We successfully created a to-do list. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for your attention. I see you in the next video.